Welcome to the program. Well, some breaking news to do with the AFP raids of journalists, both Annika Smethurst from News Corp and also ABC journalists, is what this appears to relate to. This is a change in the way that there would ever be charges stemming from those raids and any information that has been gathered. Now, this has just emerged today. This has been gazetted on the website here within the Attorney General's Department. What this actually means is the Director within the Director of Public Prosecutions must not proceed with a prosecution of a person for alleged controversion of following sections within the written consent of the Attorney General. These talk about ASIO sections and Section 70 of the Crimes Act, where the person is a journalist and the facts constituting the alleged offence relate to the work of the person in a professional capacity as a journalist. In that case, they have to go through the Attorney General. So what does this change mean today? It means for people the subject of these types of raids that we saw, we're not talking about any decision from the government specifically on these cases, on guilt or otherwise, obviously, or whether or not there would not be any charges laid. But in this particular case, there could not be charges unless there was written consent of the Attorney General. So if you think about it, where previously the government says, look, laws are simply being followed, and in this case the AFP is chasing down leads and then charges could or could not follow. Now that would in fact require the written consent of the Attorney General. So you might say that this creates an extra step for journalists to be charged, because that's the wording, where the person is a journalist and the facts constituting the offence relate to the work of the person in their professional capacity. So in this case, the government couldn't simply say this is something that will happen outside of our control. It would need to be the written consent of the Attorney General. Now, the response from Christian Porter was that it would be inappropriate for him to comment on individual cases that would be presented to him. He's previously said that he would be seriously disinclined, though, to approve prosecution of journalists, except in the most exceptional circumstances. So what we're seeing here, seemingly, is the government formalising them talking about a disinclination to actually charge journalists in this particular case. They've said they'll very much be going after the whistleblowers, by the way, and that's still an issue. If you want to get these stories out, if whistleblowers are not getting them out, well, they won't get out there. That's important to note, but in this case, creating this extra hurdle to actually charge journalists, the Attorney General would have to tick off on it. So news that we're just getting in the past half hour or so.